Well, we're headed to David to climb on a plane to fly to Panama City, and from Panama City we will be climbing on a boat Monday to go and do some work with the Gunas, tribe that's on several islands off the coast of Panama. These people don't get much help. There are some other tribes that get a lot of help, but these people don't get much. We're excited about it. I did want to say, as quickly as possible, 10 years ago, almost 10 years ago, next month, my father passed away. And as my father was getting sick and slowing down his schedule, our CPA started looking at the books of God Loves Kids. And in looking at them, I wasn't in charge. My mom was still in charge of the books, but he could tell that in the 3 years that my father was sick, that finances had gone down because there wasn't a constant stream of new donors and new supporters for the ministry without any advertising dollars. My mom would follow my dad around. She would stand up for 7 minutes in a service, about 50% of the churches that he went to. She'd tell her story, she'd talk about the kids, and people would line up to sponsor new children. So that kept the ministry flush without spending any promotional dollars, without advertising. But as my dad neared the end of his life, the last 3 years of his life, that slowed down considerably. And then obviously he passed away. And right around the time he passed away, the CPA looked at us and said, God Loves Kids is not doing well. And then about 3 years later, he looked at us and said, God Loves Kids really isn't doing well. And it was at that point in time that our family donated a house to the ministry. It was a rental house. It was in somewhat disrepair. Bess and I went in and worked on the house, designed it as a flip, and we sold it for a record amount of money in that neighborhood. So we were able to generate an extra $130,000 that year for the ministry from our personal efforts. But when you sell a rental house, you lose rental income, and so there's only so much that the Phillips family can personally do. But it helped, and then a couple of years later, I was elected president. Bess was elected vice president of the ministry. My mom went into retirement. And at that point in time, we were told, well, then nobody had to tell me, there was $250 in the bank account, and if one of our board members had not handed me $5,000 that day in that board meeting where I was elected president, I don't know how we would have made payroll 2 days later. And ever since then, it's been a real adventure of faith. I was handed a ministry with $250 in the bank account, and yet in the last 5 years, we completed a $500,000 home in Nepal. We'd like to add more girls to that home. We'd like to give Nepal more funding, but we're finding ourselves having to give them less. We're finding ourselves in a situation where after doing some forensics on our own ministry, the couple that was doing it looked at me and said, if the ministry lasts another 12 weeks, that'll be amazing. And that's the word that I just heard a few days ago. And so one of the things that I have to say to that is God is faithful. He's never let us down. He's never failed us. We've had ups and downs. We just lost a major donor who gave $2,000 a month, and it was quite a hit. We've had other things. People are walking in fear, not faith. They really are walking in fear, and I can understand why. It's a unique season worldwide, but the fact is that kids are still hungry. Kids are still dying. There's millions of children around the world who go to bed every night in hunger. There's millions of children around the world who do not have a sufficient education. There's millions of children around the world who are abused or abandoned or thrown away or sold into sex trafficking. Those things have never changed. And so there is still a reason for God Loves Kids to exist. There's a reason for us to reach out to tribes. This is our second tribe in 1 month that we're reaching out to. And there's a reason for us to apply our faith to see God do miracles for this organization and this ministry. We really need help. We need some people to step up to the plate and give in a strong way. We need some monthly donations that are above and beyond the normal. So I have to say, whose report are we going to believe? Are we going to believe what the secular world would say is that God Loves Kids is 12 weeks away from being bankrupt? The secular world would say God Loves Kids has no chance of paying payroll. And I'm not talking about Bess and I. We haven't received our payroll for a long time, and it's our staff. So we're underfunded right now. We can't do the new things that we want to do without the funding. We can't even maintain at the levels that we need to be maintaining at with the current funding. We've got to have a miracle. We've got to have money come in, and we need it now. And if you can help, you can text God Loves Kids to 77977. That's God Loves Kids to 77977. Or go to our website, godloveskids.com. godloveskids.com. You can give through our website, through the Network for Good setup that we have. We're running campaigns, different campaigns. You can involve yourself in a lot of different ways, but we just need help right now.